and a very good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. How many minutes late am I this morning? 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Georgie Porgy is sorry. There's an old saying, an old proverb, that if anything can go wrong, it will. Things have been going just too smoothly for the last few weeks, and this morning we had a bit of a hiccup there, and that's the reason why we're getting started just a wee bit late. However, let me tell you, for those of you who are sticking around, it's going to be worth your time. We have got an interesting program lined up for you this morning. As I take a look here off to my left, I see that my two in-house guests are already here, man. These guys are early, they're charged up, and so am I. And I certainly hope that you are as well. This morning, first of all, we're going to be clearing up your rights. For those of you who travel throughout CARICOM, they still haven't got this thing pegged, you know. Still a lot of issues. And there's a court case now which I don't know if it's going to bring about any changes, but we'll have to wait and see. Ruggles Ferguson sent me a release which I published on the GRENADABROADCAST.com website a couple of days ago, and actually yesterday, and he'll tell you about this court case. A Grenadian is actually taking the government of Trinidad and Tobago to court, CCJ, about not allowing him to enter Trinidad and Tobago. So hang in there. You'll find out about that as the morning goes on. In addition to that, as always, we do have the national report from the GIS. And then, as you've probably seen on Facebook there, our final segment this morning, it says here simply, Sherron and Winthrop are in the house. And indeed, they are. So, folks, that's your rundown for the next hour. Now, let me start with the CCJ issue. The article sent by Ruggles is actually captioned, CCJ sets a date to determine important preliminary issues in the David Bain matter. It says, the Caribbean Court of Justice has set May 7th to hear arguments concerning several preliminary issues arising in the case of David Bain versus the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. On November 20th, Bain, who hails from Concord, St. John, became the first Grenadian to be granted leave to commence proceedings in the original jurisdiction of the Caribbean Court of Justice. He is seeking a declaration and damages for an alleged breach of his right to freedom of movement within CARICOM, as guaranteed by Articles 45 and 46 of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, following his denial of entry into the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago on December 14, 2017. In defense to Mr. Bain's claim, Trinidad and Tobago contends that, at the time, he, Bain, was not entitled to the privileges and protections afforded CARICOM nationals under the revised treaty, since he was traveling on a United States passport, and presented, upon entry, a completed immigration form acknowledging U.S. citizenship. And by the way, he holds dual citizenship, both here in Grenada and the United States. Based on the defense presented by the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the CCJ, in a further case management conference held via video conference on January 30th, set timelines for both sides to present written submissions and for a May 7th oral hearing on 3 preliminary issues. Here they are. 1. Whether Bain waived his rights to be treated as a Caribbean community national by the immigration authorities in Trinidad and Tobago by presenting a completed immigration form acknowledging citizenship of the United States along with a valid U.S. passport, and thereby invoking citizenship in the United States. That's 1. 2, whether it would make a difference in the establishment of any such waiver if his disclosure of his Grenadian citizenship occurred before or after the decision was made by the immigration authorities to deny him entry into Trinidad and Tobago. And 3, whether the presentation by Mr. Bain of his Grenada National Identification Card and his driver's license was sufficient to conclusively determine his Grenadian citizenship and thereby entitle him to be treated by the Republic of TNT as a national of a Caribbean community member state. Okay? Now, written submissions are to be filed on behalf of Bain on or before March 6th and on behalf of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in response by March 27th. Should Bain's attorney wish to file submissions in reply to Trinidad and Tobago's response, they must do so on or before April 3rd. At the January 30th Case Management Conference, the CCJ also requested both the state of Grenada and the CARICOM community to file written submissions on several issues relevant to the case. Grenada's written submissions, which are due on the 20th of February, are to include the citizen criteria, if any, for obtaining a Grenada National Identification Card. Got it? CARICOM has been asked to address in its written submissions, which are also due on the 20th of February, the status of the Caribbean Community Travel Treaty, which is also known as CARIPASS, and the appropriate travel documentation to be presented by Caribbean community nationals to immigration or border control in member states for the purpose of invoking the rights to freedom of movement. Finally, if the CCJ rules on any of the preliminary issues in a matter which is favorable to Bain, the matter will proceed to a full trial to determine whether his right to freedom of movement within CARICOM was breached, and, if so, his entitlement to damages. An adverse ruling to Bain, however, on the preliminary issues will bring an end to the matter. Yeah. There you have it, folks. Keep your eyes open on that one. Still a little time between now and that hearing or what have you, but we're going to keep an eye on that. Let me see here. Let me turn now. Let me turn to Facebook here for a minute and say good morning to those folks who are already there with us. Veronica Sandy is saying good morning, and she's hoping that you all enjoy your Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? It's kind of cloudy out. Yeah, today is Wednesday. What would I do without Sherron? Yes. Margaret says, hola, hooray, it's hump day. Hump day? Margaret, you must be feeling better, eh, Margaret? Margaret's feeling better. Lincoln Robbins says, an awesome day to everyone. Nice seeing you, sis. Peter Bishop saying good morning to you, George, and the rest of the class from Brooklyn. Here's a daily weather report from Brooklyn. He says it's 40 degrees Celsius. You are wrong, Peter. It's not 40 degrees Celsius. If it's 40 anything, it has to be 40 Fahrenheit. 40 degrees Celsius on what? The 6th of February? You mother. You crazy? No, Pedro, it's Fahrenheit. Huh. Anyhow, Margaret then comes on and says, interesting. So he landed as a U.S. citizen, and he expected to be treated as a CARICOM citizen there? Yeah, Mags, as always, she's on the ball. Glenn Andrew Mark is saying, good morning, you all. Happy Wednesday. Margaret says, there's a reason why there is a citizenship question in the immigration card, and why the passport you land in matters. Yeah, Margaret. Well, try and find her attorney, and you guys have a chat about that. Iva Holas. Don't remember seeing Iva before, but Iva is with us. And also Lydia James is asking you guys to have a great day. Folks, tell you what, let's take a first little break, and then we'll come on back with the National Report.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Spice.
Redleg, energizing our Grenada.
Labukan Creative Center, in association with Spice Basket, presents Mayhem in Paradise.
All the time I man you complaining I never had a steady job. Now I get an opportunity to get a permanent one. And woman, you acting up? I acting up? Yes, and you know why I didn't tell you, man? It's because of your stupid attitude, man.
My stupid attitude?
Yes.
You come this early morning pulling cutlass at me, right?
It's a play by Francis Urias Peters, together with a nostalgic folk musical journey, plus the Tivoli drummers at Spice Basket, Wednesday, February 6th. Tickets from Grenadian Optical and Kittens Drug Mart at $40 each. Children 12 and under, $25 at the door. It's a special independence production of drama, folk music, and dance, produced by Urias Peters, Wednesday, February 6th at Spice Basket, 8:30 p.m.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
All right. Peter is finally acknowledging here, yes, George, you're correct. It's 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Ha, 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 ha. 40 degrees Celsius on the 6th of January. Don't try that, boy. Okay. Pilgrims, here comes the National Report, and then we will get to Sherron and Winthrop after that. Hang in here.
Government seeking to undertake energy efficiency project that will significantly reduce public energy bill. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Tuesday, February 5th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Grenada is drawing up a proposal for an energy efficiency project that is expected to significantly reduce the country's public energy bill, which runs into millions of dollars annually. Minister for Climate Resilience, Senator Simon Steele, says through the Green Climate Fund, Grenada is partnering with UN Environment, the Caribbean Development Bank, and is receiving technical support from New York University. There are 3 components to the project.
One is a public lighting project to move from the energy inefficient sodium light bulbs that are currently used for our public lighting to energy efficient LED units supplied by renewable energy, solar fields that will be distributed on public buildings throughout the country, and then lighting and cooling for public buildings. And the successful completion of this project will significantly reduce our public lighting and energy bill, which runs in the region of $7+ million a year. The second component is for the private sector, providing concessional loan facilities for the private sector to be able to implement energy efficiency solutions which will reduce their operating costs, improve their competitiveness. And then the third component are policy recommendations which will ensure Grenada is on a sustainable path to energy efficiency.
Once the proposal is submitted, the Green Climate Fund will make its decision in a matter of months.
We're scheduled to submit a formal proposal to the Green Climate Fund for funding for this project by the end of this month, with a decision in the middle of the year, June, July. So a very, very quick win. If we are successful in our application, the value of this project will be somewhere in the region of $25 million. So a significant project, and one that is being paired off from the Climate Resilient City project.
Government secures 8 additional medical scholarships from the St. George's University valued at $5.5 million. Minister for Information, Senator Simon Steele, told members of the media on Tuesday that the 8 scholarships are in addition to 17 recently secured for Grenadian students. He says these scholarships were awarded under special circumstances.
We have managed to secure 8 additional one-off scholarships for 8 Grenadian students. So this is in addition to the 17 medical scholarships that were awarded as part of this current intake. Now, these additional 8 are a special case. This year, the selection committee had the significant challenge of 8 students, highly academically qualified, with significant financial needs, fell outside of the 17 that had been shortlisted based on qualification.
He says each of the 8 is valued at $700,000.
The value of these 8 scholarships exceed $5.5 million. This is not an insignificant thing. But there is a condition, and that is we strengthen the bonding arrangements with students who are awarded scholarships. Each of these scholarships are valued at in excess of $700,000.
Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell on Tuesday received a letter of credentials from newly appointed Bahamian High Commissioner to Grenada, Mr. Ruben Lorenzo Raming. The letter, signed by Bahamian Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, said, and I quote, Mr. Raming is eminently suited both by his personal qualities and his experience in the affairs of state for the duties with which he has been entrusted, unquote. In his introduction, Mr. Raming spoke of having deep admiration for the Grenadian leader and his role as an elder statesman among CARICOM member leaders. Dr. Mitchell welcomed the new High Commissioner, thanked him for the complimentary words, and engaged him in discussion about the history of relations between Grenada and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Both men also spoke at length about challenges currently facing the region, specifically the potential cross-border issue which can arise from the situation in Venezuela. Dr. Mitchell reiterated the position that there is need for urgent dialogue between the parties concerned to resolve the problems. Continued attempts by Haitian migrants to enter the Bahamas illegally, ongoing efforts to tackle drug and gun proliferation also formed part of the discussion. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
It is here again, it is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. And I just hope the whole of Grenada ready, because I sung in a clarion call. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is on February 7th, and the public is encouraged to come out and give full support and buy out all local products on show. Products manufactured right here in Grenada, 100% Grenadian, and it's happening right here at the National Stadium. Are taking in the Independence Parade and the Made in Grenada Expo one time. I am so excited. That's why I'm making a fireside. I bring my tent, my blanket, and all kind of thing, and I'm camping right here until everything done on February 7th. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again.
Continuing the news, government plans to assess and restore contracts and equipment for street cleaning and garbage collection in the first half of this year. Senator Simon Steele, Minister for Climate Resilience and the Environment, says Cabinet has decided to issue new contracts for street cleaning and garbage collection services that have been in existence for more than 7 years. But the new contracts will be based on performance.
Half of all contracts for street cleaners and garbage collection contractors, new contracts will be issued by the first half of this year. And then the remainder of those contracts will be issued by the end of the year. And contracts will be awarded based on the performance of existing contractors. They have to meet minimum performance criteria.
Senator Steele says contracts that are being renewed will be done under the new terms and conditions as stipulated by the government.
Those existing contractors who adhere to those criteria, who are competitive, their contracts will be renewed on new terms which reflect the current garbage collection, street cleaning requirements. Things have changed since the issuing of those initial licenses. Or those who haven't performed or who do not meet the criteria, then new contracts will be issued to new suppliers.
Grenadian teachers are part of an OECS initiative that affords them the opportunity to hone their skills in the creation of e-books via special software to add supplementary resources to the classroom. It is spearheaded by the OECS under the Early Learners Program. Details from Annette Moore.
As teachers, we are often called in schools to find materials to cater to the children's different learning needs. And it is often very difficult to find reading materials that could teach. You can teach a level 1 child and then a level 6 child.
Now they could use their own content area and either adjust it, bring it lower or bring it higher to suit the needs.
So for instance, if we are teaching about the world, we can create a level 1 story about the world for the child and still create a level 6 story about the world for the child.
Michelle Bowler-Bowen, an Early Learners Program Coordinator, is one of the facilitators for the workshop. She is satisfied with how quickly teachers grasp the leveled learning concept, among other things. She filled us in on the objectives of the training.
There are 3 main areas of focus. 1, to enable teachers to produce books that children would have written, they themselves, what they have written. 2, to enable teachers to be able to create leveled books and decodable books that would assist the struggling readers at any level. And 3, to enable teachers to produce e-books. So these books can be shared among teachers and students. We are hoping that when the teachers leave here today, they'll be able to use the knowledge they have gained to improve the resources in the classroom and also to enable other teachers.
The program is getting positive feedback from participating teachers.
First of all, I must say that we have excellent facilitators who really know what they're talking about. The training has been, as I said, wonderful.
The program can surpass just literature. In any subject area you can think about, you can now introduce that. And we have seen so many ways in which you can use the program, not just to create books, but let's say for presentation and everything, just to make it attractive for the child, and again, making learning fun.
So this new innovation, it is welcomed by all teachers. I know that all teachers will be happy for it, and all of us will be able to use it in very practical ways to not just enable and help reading, but to help writing as well.
For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Alrighty, folks, so there you have it. Last night's edition of the National Report from the Government Information Service. Now, while you were listening to that and watching it, Peter Bishop posted something here on Facebook. He says, lots of talk from Senator Steele as usual in regards to new contracts for street cleaning. The only criteria is party membership. Okay? And just to digress for a little bit here, getting back to this immigration issue we were talking about before the National Report, Anthony Howard here says, good morning, George and friends. The hypocrisy continues on citizenship. Should Grenadians living in Grenada hold U.S. passport now file claim for authorization to run for political office? Well, what is dual citizenship and born in Grenada? You're always Grenadian. So says Anthony. If I'm not mistaken, Anthony has had this issue about citizenship going for eons. He then goes on to say, or convenience rhetoric to take from those in the diaspora, but not truly embarrassing their talents when they return home. I think he meant embracing their talents when they return home. So says Anthony. Okie doke, pilgrims. Let me take another little break here. Should I give you a sneak preview? Yeah, hold on. Just let me give you a sneak preview here. Take a look at that lady. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Huh? Okay, that's one, right? Now, take a look at this one. Contemplating whether or not he should smile. Yeah, folks. They're going to be with you after we take this little break.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing.
A commemorative postage stamp.
So it's good to know I have Co-op Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical, and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners, and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance, and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks. It is now, let's see here, 23 minutes away from 10 o'clock, okay? And again, my apologies for getting started just a teeny-weeny little bit late this morning. Time now to say good morning to my two guests. One is somebody who appears with us here every Wednesday morning. I am referring to Sherron Roberts, and she's joined by her husband, whom I have described as a cricket aficionado. A lot of people have been sort of labeling this guy kind of cuckoo because of his extremely loyal support for the West Indies, but you could say whatever the heck you want. He's a Windies fan, and he's going to be a Windies fan until he dies, Mr. Winthrop Wiltshire. Let's start with the ladies. Good morning, Sherron, and how are you?
I am good, and I'm so happy to be back in Grenada. As much as I miss being with my family in Florida and my sons and grandchildren in Belize, it's good to be home.
Speaking about grandchildren, somewhere on Facebook, I actually saw some pictures of you and the grands on Facebook.
Right.
How
I
many
have
you got?
7.
7.
3 grandsons and 4 granddaughters.
Young girl like you, huh?
Well, I was a bit forward, I guess, and my sons
And I have been learning over the past couple of days that you also are or have become a big cricket fanatic. Is he responsible for that?
No, my father is. Since we were very, very small, he's a big cricket fan. And I remember when West Indies played in Australia, and because of the time difference, we would spend the whole night up listening to cricket.
Huh.
We didn't have televisions in those days, but forever, since in the days of this Australian Paul Sheehan and the Indian guys, Venkataragavan, and all these, we were great cricket fans. There are times when there's a match in Grenada and the only person might be in looking at cricket is me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations. So, cricket, your support has actually paid off.
Yes.
Let me turn now to this young man sitting over here on your left. Quinty, congratulations. You know what?
I accept.
Yeah. I went on the air on, I think it was Monday morning. If it wasn't Monday, it was yesterday. And I told people that you were the very first phone call I heard after the game. Congratulations. What happened, man? These guys just came from out of nowhere.
Well, several things have happened. One, we have a captain who is getting his act together. Not only as a captain, but as a batsman, because he's an all-rounder. And he always said his batting is better than his bowling. Another very critical factor is we have found an opening pair that can score 50 runs before one of them gets out. I cannot recall any time in the past where on 3 successive occasions in a test match, the West Indian opening pair has scored more than 50 runs. That is so critical. And the fourth time, they didn't get out because we only had 14, 15 runs to make. So John Campbell is a very important addition to the team. I went to Barbados to see that the first test match. And I was so impressed with Campbell. Because when the opening batsman wears down the new ball bowlers, in this case, Anderson, Broad wasn't there in Barbados, but Broad was in Antigua. When you wear down those opening batsmen, those opening bowlers, and they bowl like 10 overs without getting a wicket, they get tired. So the number 1 batsman, Shea Hope, it used to be Darren Bravo, he has a little time, a respite from the onslaught of the new ball and when the pitch is really doing a lot, you know. But I want to give you a little story that I think listeners will be interested in. We had a coincidence. In Barbados, we had a West Indian captain and wicketkeeper scoring 295 partnership for the 8th wicket. Okay? This is so interesting because Holder scored 200 and Dowry scored 100. I don't know how many of the viewers would remember 1955, same Kensington Oval. Dennis Atkinson is the captain, Barbadian. Clement de Pisa is the wicketkeeper. I'm a little boy, and I'm at the match. And Australia's playing West Indies. My uncle took me to the match. And Australia makes 600 plus. Lindwall makes 100. Everybody 400s. And J.K. Holt was J.K. Holt was in the game, and his cousin Hilton in Jamaica had killed his wife and was charged and was going to be hanged. And Holt dropped 2 catches, and the crowd was saying, "Save Hilton and hang Holt." Anyway, Sobers and Holt opens the innings, right? And Sobers makes 43 with 10 fours and gets out. By the end of the day, we were 96 for 6. Weeks out, we're all out, walking around. Nobody goes the next day. Guess what? Atkinson and De Pisa hold on there. And Atkinson makes 216 and De Pisa 122. Captain and wicketkeeper. And it happened again in Barbados.
Okay. It's true when they label cricket as being the game of glorious uncertainty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But listen, you know, despite this big victory, I mean, people are talking about the fact that the BBC lambasted the team, and if I'm not mistaken, in particular, Holder.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Well, the media, especially the foreign media, always tries to put us down. Jeff Boycott in the Daily Telegraph.
Yeah.
Before
right,
the team.
sorry, that's who it was. Yeah.
It was Jeff Boycott in Daily Telegraph before the team came to the Caribbean. You recall we did very badly in Bangladesh in November, and Jeff Boycott says, West Indies. He says, fans, I know about 9,000 of you English fans are going to the Caribbean to see cricket, but I have to tell you, West Indies is a mediocre team. You will enjoy the beaches, but the cricket will be one-sided. My comment is, how ironically prescient. Because of course it was one-sided.
Yeah,
the question is which side.
Yeah. You expect that they're going to pull off the 3rd game this weekend as well?
In spite of the fact that Holder has been banned from playing the...
And I want you to explain that. But go ahead.
In spite of that fact, I expect that whether they bring in Kemo Paul or O'Shane Thomas, we're going to win this match and give them a blackwash. But let me explain. It can't be a whitewash. Let me explain the issue with Holder. it is totally correct to have a rule for the minimum number of overs per hour, 15 overs per hour. However, we were only short by 2 overs. And as Shane Warne says, oh, have a heart. I mean, you could have been less harsh in this case. Now, I believe the penalty for banning a captain is too harsh. I think there should be a gradated scale. You lose some of your match fee for 0 to 5 overs or something like that. On the other hand, I must say that it is important for the team and the captain to be vigilant. And we have 4 fast bowlers. Chase is only going to bowl 8 overs. He only bowled 8 overs in the innings. So you have to move more quickly between wickets. 2 overs, that's just about 6 minutes. Mm-hmm. So if they were more vigilant and aware of the problem, it wouldn't happen again, I can assure you.
Okay. So the ban was legitimate?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You wanted to say something, Sherron?
No, I'm just saying yes, it was.
Let me ask you this. Is this going to have some sort of psychological impact on the Windies come this weekend? The fact that they're without their captain?
Well, Craig Brathwaite will be captain, and Holder will be there with the team in the background, advising them. I think they'll be doubly motivated because of the fact that Holder is not there, to show that they can beat England even without Holder. And guess what? England they're now depressed. We have them where we want them. We have them.
Look at that smirk on his face.
Oh yes, because they have good players. I mean, Root, mark you, there's a factor that occurred in Antigua. We were lucky to win the toss because the wicket was not the best. But this is another factor. We have been preparing in the past very placid wickets. We are now deciding, let's take advantage of our home advantage. Let's prepare fast wickets, so all fast bowlers can be dominant, although England has fast bowlers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we now have a quartet of fast bowlers. Gabriel, Holder, Roach, and Roach has come into his own, and Alizari Joseph. And we have the nucleus. Remember Lloyd? Remember Croft and Garner and Ambrose and we had, and Malcolm Marshall. We had, when we were dominant between 1980 and 1995, our fast bowlers were a big factor in that. Okay? We got that again. So big question now is this a flash in the pan? Is this a one-off thing? I don't think so. I think we are the up and up. There was a guy in Trinidad, Dr. Claude Denbo, who used to write about cricket, and he says, West Indies is going to take a long, long time to come back to where they were. I think it's now the upward trend.
All right, this is something I want to ask you about because, in recent years, there's been a lot of speculation as to the reason why we have not been doing well. I mean, we heard criticisms of the administration, including from our Prime Minister. I want to ask you about him in just a wee bit. We also heard a lack of talent as far as a team was concerned. We also heard that there was a lot of ill discipline. So what is this victory? What does it say?
There was never.
What about cycles? I mean, you can't keep on winning ad infinitum, okay?
There was never a lack of talent, but there was a lack of purpose. There was a lack of cohesiveness. When you see Darren Bravo taking 5 hours and a half to score 50 runs, and Darren, that is spectacular because he put his head down. He says, although the pitch is giving some difficulty, the ball is keeping low sometimes, it's jumping sometimes, he said, we want to score 300 and I'm going to stay in there. And other batsmen were batting around him. And he was that's the third slowest 50 in Test cricket and is viewed as a triumph. Normally if you score slowly, that's bad. But this was very good because he says, we have a lead of 112. If we can score 300, we are giving them 412 to make and they can't make it. and he stuck it out and stuck it out. And you can see how the team is gelling together when they get a man out, and how they, you can see the camaraderie. Very often in the past, there have been conflicts in the team, one person not speaking to another. I don't know if you recall 2007 when it's alleged that Samuels ran out Lara because they had a feud, and okay, that is absent. That is absent. So that is a very important factor, team cohesiveness.
So cohesiveness and talent. You're saying the talent is there.
Talent is there. Talent has always been there. Talent's always been there. But then again, you had the board saying, we're not playing you because you said something against us. No, the feud between Darren Bravo and Cameron has been resolved. Darren Bravo hadn't played Test cricket for 2 years before the Barbados Test. And he didn't make any runs there, and they persevered with him. And he showed that he has the class. We have now an opening pair. We have Shea Hope. We have Chase is showing his ability not only with the bat but with the ball. We have Alizari Joseph getting over his injury. We have O'Shane Thomas in the background, fast bowler, bowling at 150 kilometers an hour, over 80 miles an hour, routinely. I mean, and he can't get a pick on the first 11. I think these guys are here to stay. They have a purpose. They're committed. At one time, we used to win the toss and send the other team to bat because we were afraid of batting first. Now we send the other team into bat only if the wickets are going to favor the fast bowling.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Okay, so the talent is there. Now, have you seen any improvement in the administration? Because from our Prime Minister's point of view, that was a big issue.
I see the administration bending a little bit to all the criticism. You saw Cameron in Antigua with the team, I don't know if you recall when the guys were in India, that infamous 2014 incident when Bravo brought his team from, he abandoned the game, okay, unilaterally. Cameron was in India and refused to meet with the team because they were so far apart. I think the relationship between the team and the board is now going more smoothly, and that's very, very important. And guess what? We have elections, board elections in March, but the way the structure is, we can't change, prime ministers can't change the structure of the board, unfortunately, because we are so many different countries, and all the countries have to agree. And Antigua was not agreeing, and so that the point is, irrespective of what kind of board we have, the team has a responsibility to represent West Indies. When this guy from South Africa said West Indies will grovel, okay, Viv Richards and the rest of the team says, we have to make England pay. We have to make England pay because we have pride. At one time in the recent past, you kind of got the impression these guys are only playing for money and they're only interested in IPL. But I'm seeing a new spirit. I'm seeing a new spirit emerging. We are representing the West Indies, and we have to be proud West Indians, and we have to bring back the fans who have suffered from Tabanka. Yes, we have to bring them back because they don't quite know if they can trust us. We have to have them recognize you can trust us. We're not going to fail you again. We're not going to hurt your heart anymore. We're not going to horn you.
Winty. I told you. Have you heard anything from our Prime Minister since last Saturday's game?
Well, I think there was a comment on I saw him on Saturday saying, well, he's still not happy about the board, but I saw that comment. I heard that on the television.
Okay.
But I think he'll be proud. I mean, he'll be proud of how the West Indies is doing. And by the way, I want to make sure that when the West Indies come here in the one-day games on Monday, the 25th of February, and Wednesday the 27th. I want Grenadian fans to come out and support the team. It's very, very, very important. We have, after this game in St. Lucia, this test, which I expect to win, we have 5 one-days, the 2 in Barbados, and there are 2 here. It's very important that we support the team.
Let me throw a hypothetical at you. Let's assume that we win the game this weekend, and chances are pretty darn good we're going to win it. We're pumped up, okay? We're pumped up. What if we then go on to win the 5 one-days? This is going to turn the international cricket picture around quite a bit.
Well, oh yes, and when you read the comments from the people in Australia and India and so, they're saying, we want the West Indies to come back.
Oh, really?
Oh yes. They're behind us. And guess what? We have the World Cup in England in a few months' time. So these one-day matches against England are preparation for the World Cup coming up between all the 10 countries. We have 8 that are already in and 2 that have to play preliminaries to get in. We are on the road, and I expect us to do well, not only with the 5 one-days, but in England. Because you remember, one of the problems that we had in the past is an ability to concentrate for long periods. We would, in a test match, we would do well in one session, the pre-lunch session, and then session between lunch and tea, we go right down, or do well for 2 sessions, and then go right down. We have been able to concentrate in the 2 test matches and do well in 7 sessions. That is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Winty, you started something here. Somebody by the name of, I don't know if you know this person, Carla Ray Briggs.
Oh,
yes.
Huh?
Yes, indeed.
You're talking about coming out to see the one-day matches. Carla says here on Facebook, we will come out as long as we don't have to go to work. Sherron, you know this lady.
Yes, but there's something I want to say. We talk about the fast bowler you mentioned, Curtly Ambrose, just now. Do you know, to the people who like to look at Dancing with the Stars, that Curtly Ambrose will be on this season of Dancing with the Stars?
Curtly Ambrose?
Yes. He is dancing, Latin dance and waltz and everything. He's on Dancing with the Stars this season.
Did you coach him?
No. But funny, in 2007, when we had the World Cup and they had a few matches here, I actually took official leave, holidays, to volunteer at the games. And I was chatting with one of the Australian cricketers, and I said, well, how come you're all so fast? Because you look at the way they field and they're very swift. And he said as part of their training is Latin dancing. You see? And this is one of the things that people have to realize is not just catching a ball and batting a ball, is moving and movement and dance.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Actually, Curtly was not in Antigua for the test match because he was in Australia Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay. Winty, look, we're running out of time. Hold on a sec here. Carla says, Sherron, oh my gosh, can't wait to see him.
To see who?
Curtly
Curtly.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Curtly.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Winty, we're running out of time, but remaining moments, I want you to give viewers a little bit of hope for the West Indies. Where do you see things going from here? And what would you like to see from here? So we pounded the stuffing out of England on this trip. What's next?
One big factor is the issue of confidence. We have developed a confidence that we had way back when Lloyd was captain. When Lloyd was captain, you heard those Atherton and those guys who was captain of England saying when they were going to play West Indies, they were thinking, okay, how many days this match will last? Because they knew they were going to get beaten. And when you go with that attitude, negative attitude, you're going to lose. So we are now going in with a positive attitude because we know we can do it. We're no longer the underdogs. We have a fast bowling quartet that is second to none. So we are going in there with our chests out, like that. And so there's no turning back. There is no turning back. I would be extremely surprised if we falter and go in a slump again.
Okay. Folks, let me give you an idea of how much of a fanatic this guy is. We weren't sure he'd be able to make it in here this morning, because this man, he does work, okay? So I said to him, well, listen, if you can't make it on Wednesday, how about coming in on Sunday morning and spend some time with us on SWGG? Them boy playing cricket, he ain't missing that for nothing. So hence the reason he's here this morning. Winty, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Lady Sherron, I appreciate the fact that you gave most of your time this morning to this youngster sitting over here. Thanks a lot. And we're going to see you next week as well. And Winty, thank you as well.
You're most welcome
for coming.
I'm always happy to talk about cricket.
And I'm assuming, pardon me?
I'm always happy to talk about cricket.
Hey, that's kind of obvious. That's kind of obvious. And I'm assuming that I will be the first person to hear from you at the conclusion of the upcoming test match.
Most definitely.
But I must say, he's not just passionate about cricket, about dancing, about Reiki, about anything, reading.
Yeah.
He's
fanatical.
About U.S. politics.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, forget that.
Oh. Boy, we should get him in here to Trump one of these days. Yeah. Anyhow, folks, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I've been talking with Sherron Roberts just a little bit, and a whole lot more with Winthrop Wilshire, and obviously the conversation focused on cricket this morning. Folks, let me take one quick little break here, and we'll come on back and wrap it up right after this.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, on that note, time to pull the curtain down. Just want to extend an invitation to you to join me on Sunday morning. Another interesting program on Sundays with George Grant coming your way. Just a parting word from the Holy Scriptures as we do every morning. And this one I'm just going to pull off the top of my head. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but in everything you do, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. You want proof? Look right into my eyes. Been there. On that note, thanks a lot for joining us on Facebook. Everybody, goodbye. Good to see you. And let's try and do this all over again on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Spread the word. We are here. And by the way, for those of you who have missed the streams out there on the other platforms like TuneIn, Radio Garden, Radio Janor, and who's the other one? Yeah, Grenada Broadcast. We're back. Check us out. God bless you, folks.